Hi everybody, welcome to episode 10 of the Neurotic Knitter podcast. My name is Drew. I'm Drew in real life on Instagram, and I'm Drew Jacobs83 on Ravelry. And thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. I'm coming to you live from the craft space / office on the other side. You can never really see the office side. That's my partner Mike's kind of domain over there, and then this is the crafting side. But anyway, really excited to be with you guys today. As promised, I am trying to record more podcasts and do them at a more regular clip. And I cannot believe that this is going to be the 10th episode. Thank you all so much for your supportive comments. I don't have a huge following, but I'm really enjoying doing this. So really appreciate all the support. And last time I talked a little bit about DEI. I was surprised that I didn't get more comments, just because it's kind of an important topic. But I do really appreciate the comments that people did send me, and hope that we can continue to keep that issue front and center for us. I apologize if I'm a little low energy. I've been feeling a little under the weather this weekend. And my partner is traveling right now. He's actually coming back tonight. And so it's one of those weekends where I kind of got to do whatever I wanted, and that really consisted of a whole lot of bad TV. I been watching Schitt's Creek. Your ears did not deceive you if you're unfamiliar with that show. It's amazing. You need to watch it yesterday. But I've been catching up on that. It's with Catherine Hara and Eugene Levy, if you're familiar, and then Eugene Levy's son, Daniel Levy, who's also just equally hilarious, and all kinds of other random wonderful people. And it's 30-minute episodes, so it's just very quick. But anyway, yeah, so I've had kind of a low-key weekend. I'm feeling a little I might be coming down with something. I'm not really quite sure. It could just be exhaustion. That's also a possibility. But yeah, it's March, which is crazy. And I'm so excited to be with you today. Okay, so enough of me rambling. So I wanted to start today with a segment on what am I knitting? And there are 3 things that have been kind of active in the rotation recently, so I wanted to share those with you. And they're nothing super special, but I'm pretty excited about them. So the first one, I think I may have shared this last time, but I'm pretty sure I did actually. And if you hear rustling, it's my dogs who are going crazy. This is the Broken Garter scarf. This is a Pearl Soho pattern. It's free. I'm knitting it out of Traveler Aran. You can see that it's a basic I don't know what you call it, sequence knitting pattern where it's just one row repeated, and it creates this kind of cool illusion with the columns. The yarn is fabulous, but it's discontinued, which is really sad. And I actually found out that this colorway is called Honey Wilkes. The colorway is also going to be discontinued as of this weekend by the Plucky Knitter. And I hear the dog rustling with he has a crinkle toy. Of course, that's he's playing with the crinkle toy right now. It can't be something quiet. It's gonna be something with the squeaker, or it's gonna be something with the crinkle, because these are my dogs. They're insane, and if you don't give them attention, they're I mean, we love them, but today they're working my last nerve. Okay, so Broken Garter scarf. Worsted weight, you could use any worsted weight, would be fabulous. If you have something particularly soft or squishy, perfect for it. I'm knitting it on a size 8, but it's one of those ones where it's the stitch count is so adaptable that you could really just do it on whatever you desire, whatever your little heart desires, you can. I'm struggling with my bag here. You can knit it on. So that's number 1. Number 2, okay, so I like to try out new segments, but then I don't have very good follow through on them. So I'm really going to try to make this one a connective thread through maybe the next, 5 episodes I'll set as a goal, but maybe more. Anyway, the segment is patterns you have to make. And I think that these, I'm going to try to select patterns that I think will have broad appeal, that you could use a good amount of stash yarn or maybe all stash yarn for, and ones that are just kind of good, like that I've had success with, or I just think are really cool, and not like too fussy or complicated, because that's like a Drew rule. If it's fussy or complicated, no, I don't want to do it. I have to be like in the right, I have to be like in the right headspace for that. Because it's supposed to be fun, right? So like if your knitting is work, I don't know. That's just not what I'm in it for. Anyway, that was a sidebar. So really excited to show. So I've been working on this, but it's also going to be my first pattern that I would recommend. I'm going to see if I can hold it up so you can see its full glory. This is a pattern that's called Speckled Fade Dotted Rays. It's just a version of the overall Dotted Rays pattern by Stephen West. Cannot recommend it enough. So in this version, you're taking five full skeins. Well, it won't take the full skein, but you need to pick 5 skeins or 5 colors of speckle yarn that kind of create a fade. So this is mine. I'm just loving it. This yarn is Leon Alexander Countess Fingering. They're going to be at Dallas Fort Worth Fiber Festival coming up in April, and they just have like spectacular yarn. So you can see that I started with the white, then I have a section of like fading right here, then I went into this crazy pink, then I had another section of fading with the blue, and now I'm just on to solid blue, and I'll be on solid blue for a while. Let me show you, this is the yarn that I'm using right now. This colorway I think is called Poolside, again by Leon Alexander, really fun. And in fact, now that I'm up here, if you give me just 1 second, sorry, I'm like fussing with the knitting. I hope you all got to see this. It's amazing, and the pattern's really, really easy. Essentially what it is it's like short rows, but there's no like picking up of the wrap or anything like fussy at all. It's like basically miles and miles of garter. You have to pay like a little bit of attention on the short row section, but pretty simple. But I want to show you, I'm going to use, yeah. Okay, so the convenience of having your wall of yarn right behind you while recording a podcast. So I have 3 colors in that scarf, the kind of white and cream. Gosh, how can I do this? Okay. So see, it's like white and cream, pink, blue. And then my next color is going to be this guy. There's like a dog hair on it, of course. This has got some blues and some purple and red and white. This is called In His Eyes, also Countess Fingering Leon Alexander. And then it's going to end with this zinger, which is called Under Texas Skies. So yeah, it's going to basically go from like kind of light to dark. And I tried to like, have it follow a sequence that makes sense. I don't know if you guys can really see. Amateur hour at the podcast. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. It is getting to the part where it's like kind of a slog, but still, it's like, it's not anything that the pattern's creating. It's just that the rows start to get long because it's going to be giant. That's the other thing. So the thing that you should know about me and my pattern recommendations, particularly when it comes to shawls. Sorry guys, let me just like get this all cleaned up so I can talk. I'm like doing a lot of off-camera talking this time. I don't know why. Sorry about that. I like huge shawls. Like I want them to be big. And my favorite shape is something that's kind of shallow and like really, really long because it's very wrappable. There are lots and lots and lots of triangular shawls out there that are like super deep, kind of like from here down. but then they're really short lengthwise, and I don't like those ones. They're too like, I don't know, it's just awkward to wrap. Like nobody wants like a shawl that they can't wrap around themselves. At least I don't. So anyway, dotted rays. That's my recommendation. Recommendation number 1, dotted rays, or the dotted rays speckle fade if you want to do a speckle one. But I've seen all kinds of creative adaptations to this one. You could literally use like a bajillion colors if you wanted. You could use 3 colors if you wanted. You can use 5. It's really up to you. You just kind of choose your own adventure and, go with it. Do as the spirit tells you to do. So that was my second project. And my third one is one that I actually just cast on yesterday, and I'm really excited. So the Plucky Knitter was at Vogue Knitting Live, and she had this cowl. Sorry, I'm gonna take a drink. Okay, better. Sorry, I almost choked on the Diet Coke. Ooh. She had a not a sweater. Where's my brain today? She had a cowl that she knit out of like 100% cashmere. And what it was triple stranded. So she held together a strand of worsted weight yarn and then 2 fingering weight yarns. And it was gorgeous. And all it is it's just like a basic, you cast on like 95 stitches, you knit a 3-2 rib, and then you switch the needles to basically make it shaped a little bit. So it kind of starts like this, and then it goes like in a little bit. So then that way when you wear it, it kind of tapers and you've got some like double fabric. So she had an update, and I ordered a Cashmere Kit, which is arriving tomorrow. Guilty as charged. But I couldn't help myself, and I had to cast one on out of stash. So I'm making this one for Mike, and here it is. So what's cool about this, yeah, I think you can see. I'm loving it. This cowl I'm making out of Snug, and what I'm doing is I'm doing this cool thing that I got an idea from the Plucky Knitter on, which was you have 3 strands, right? So you've got a worsted weight strand, which is this one for me, Toad, like totally. Fingering weight, and I actually use the same color, also totally, but like totally, but it is in Snug fingering. And then I'm holding like 1 strand of kind of the accent color that creates like the marled look. And this is a colorway called Deep Dish, also Snug fingering. So it's triple snug. It's super snuggly, as the name implies. It's a really easy knit. And I don't know, it's just sometimes the stuff that's really simple can be the stuff that's just like fabulous to work with and fabulous to knit. And this has been an example of that. So I cast on yesterday. I'm already like maybe 3 inches in. The way it works is you use 3 needle sizes. You use a 10.5, a 10, and a 9. And you start on the 10.5 and you knit like 5.5 inches, and then you go to the 10 and you knit maybe to like 11 or 11.5, and then you finish out on the 9. So I'm super pumped, and I think it'll be something Mike will enjoy. He likes cowls a lot. The funny thing about me is that I don't normally knit cowls. Actually, like normally kind of hate cowls, but I just like this one for some reason. I think it's because it's like marled and it's like so squishy with the fabric, and you've got like 1,000 choices to pick from. So anyway, that is my third item that I'm knitting, and this is the one I'm actively working on right now. So yeah, that's what's going on with me knit-wise. I've already planned out, so I've got the kit coming for a second one, and that one's going to be 100% cashmere. That one's going to be for me. Don't tell Mike. And then I have another one that I'm potentially planning that's going to be like a similar kind of concept to the one I'm making for Mike, where I'm going to use 2 of one color. This is Veruca Salt, and then I'm going to add in kind of an accent color. And this one's going to be fun because it's got all kinds of little bits in it. This color is called Tartan. It was from they used to have like a Scotland collection with Plucky Knitter. And so this is from the Scotland collection. So this is probably going to be coming up soon as well. So yeah, just knitting all the things. What's kind of crazy is I haven't been knitting a ton in terms of time, because I am spinning, and not spinning fiber, but spinning on the spin bike, as I shared last time. And I've become obsessed. I'm going at least 3 days a week now, sometimes 4. I went 4 times last week. I would have gone, I think I'm only going to go 3 times this week. They were closed today, otherwise I would have gone today. And just as a sidebar, I'm just loving it. If you guys have never tried it, you should give it a shot. It's really fun. It's like a good mixture of fun, accountability. In our classes, you're doing weights and cardio and stretching all in one, so you're kind of getting a full body workout. And it's very individual, you're kind of competing against yourself, though you are with other people. It's kind of about, at least for me, it's can I go harder and faster today than I went last time? So the first class, my goal was just to survive, which I did. And then it's just a very steep, shooting up kind of learning curve. It gets so much easier so quickly. And I'm feeling really good. I am going from doing 0 exercise to going 3 to 4 times a week. And that feels really good. I feel like I'm, doing something that's positive for my health. So that's been great. Okay. So back to knitting, but before back to knitting, I'm going to take another sip of Diet Coke. Okay. So I'm in this mode right now with knitting where I just want to make everything. And it's kind of nuts. I think I shared last time, I just don't have enough time to do all the knitting I want to do. But I did want to I listed out for today's podcast, some of the things that I am pondering working on once I complete all of these 3 projects. And yeah. So a sweater for Mike, that's a definite priority. I think there's a pattern that's called Crazy Heart. I think it's by Tanis, but it could be by Tin Can Knits, because sometimes I get those 2 confused. But Crazy Heart. And it's color work, and it's gonna be oatmeal for the main color, and then a bunch of bright colors on the yoke. So that's for Mike, and I'm gonna get that going very soon. Excuse me. Last time I was with you, I shared my Brie Oak Sweater. I was working on that a lot in December and then in January, and I kind of set it to the side. Just because it's kind of sloggy, it just is slow, and I wanted to kind of, get some stuff done. So I want to work on that. I also want to make a Marshland sweater, so that's one that is for sure Tin Can Knits. That was in their most recent yokes collection. It's called Marshland. Sorry, I'm having Diet Coke revolt right now. So that's a colorwork sweater. And then and I'm thinking I might do that out of Plucky Cormo, but I'm not I told myself today, I'm not buying any more yarn until I finish several more projects, because except for Dallas Fort Worth, that doesn't count. See how I did that there? Because I have too much going on. I have so many projects. It's sickening. It's too much. So yeah, I need to finish some things before I buy like more sweater yarn. I have like 5 sweaters going right now, so I need to like get that together. The Koyavu sweater, I'm probably saying that wrong, by Boylan Knitworks, Caitlin Hunter. It's interesting because, as a quick aside, and I don't want this to sound negative, but like there's this trend right now with sweaters where like it's all these crop tops, and I'm just like, what is this? Like, I know it's for ladies, okay. It would just be nice if there were some sweaters that were just like normal sweaters. That aren't like this tall and don't have balloon sleeves and, you know, can fit like most people. More of them. There are some. Tin Can Knits, in fact, puts out a lot of those, so thank you. I guess there are good. I'm mostly like just annoyed because I really like this pattern in general, but then it's like kind of weird. It's like a crop top and it's got balloon sleeves, and so I'm thinking of maybe adapting that and trying to make it into a jumper for me. We'll see. That's a lot of work to put in for a sweater, but maybe I will. And then I've got like a bazillion UFOs to like, so that was just like a short list, but I've got like a bazillion UFOs also on my needles, like Alima and Meld, and I've got a Brioche Brie sweater on the needles, and I've got a Parkway scarf from like a zillion years ago, and gosh, the list goes on. No need to recount them if you're out there in TV land watching this, or in YouTube land watching this. But all my friends know, like, I'm the worst. Like, I cast a zillion things on, and I finish almost nothing. But, actually, I do finish things. I just don't finish. I probably finished, like, maybe half of what I cast on. That's probably generous. But I did finish since the last podcast, and I almost forgot. And it's glorious. So, you know, a little bit of that today. It's my night shift shawl. Look. Oh my gosh, so good. Isn't that great? Oh, I love it. So this was a really fun pattern, and maybe I'll even just put it on because it's right here. Look how glorious. I have to make sure it's like styled properly. Oh, isn't that so good? Sorry, everybody's like, Drew, it's just a scarf. It's not just any scarf, though. It is a finished one by Drew. So a couple things about this scarf. One, it grew, so that was really good. I did give it kind of like, by my standards, what would be considered maybe kind of an aggressive block, but it needed it. So like, just know if you make this, you're gonna get a little freaked out if you're like me and you're knitting it and you're noticing that like there's like both of the edges are curling, like so the bind off edge ends up being a little, it ends up being like a little, mine ended up being like a little flouncy, so I had to kind of like pull it so it wasn't so like rippled. And then I had another edge where I was changing the yarns that was curling like crazy, and I had to really work on that one and kind of pin it out. But it worked out great. Like the edges came out great. It needed to be blocked because I wanted it to grow, and I think I got it to be almost 6 feet. So to my earlier point, this is on like maybe the bottom end of what I would like, but you can see that I've got enough to and I'm kind of keeping it loose, but there's enough to like kind of pull around me. So I love it. And I would also say, I've said this like 8 times, but I really like the yarn. Like I would like to knit with the yarn again. It was Spin Cycle Dream State. And their yarn is just great. And I think I might try, like, they've got like a bulky, so I might try that. I might make another one of these. You know, this pattern also, I would say, is great for stash. So if you've got 6 colors of worsted weight yarn in your stash, just use that. Just get some colors that kind of go together. It's fun, you know? And it's just like, I don't know, you can just get real creative with it. And I've loved it. These were the colors that Andrea Mowry did in hers, so I was totally unoriginal in mine. I was like, I want to make the one she made. But I might make a second one because I just really like it. And you could keep going too, so you can make it much bigger if you wanted to make it bigger. But I love it. Night Shift. I need to take some photos. I'm really bad about that. I'm actually normally very good about putting photos on Ravelry, but I didn't with this one. Okay. So yeah, finished object. Yes. Hopefully next time I'll have the cowl finished and maybe the dotted rays, though probably not the dotted rays. Yeah. So what else? So one thing that I'm thinking about doing, and you're all are gonna laugh. I think I really need to organize my stash. So I'm not gonna judge myself, but sometimes my stash can get messy. So like I'm pretty good at organizing it regularly, though I honestly haven't done that in probably a year since we put this up. And since that time, like I get these ideas, like a pattern will come out and I'll think, oh my gosh, what do I have in stash? Like to make the pattern. And so I'm grabbing all this stuff off the walls and then I just want to put it back up. So I don't put it back up in a way that's like super organized. So you can see behind me, it's like, it's in a little bit of disarray. It needs to be kind of zhuzhed a little bit. But my larger point is I'm over capacity with yarn and projects. Like I'm probably at like 120% of where I should be. And so I'm thinking like, what do I do? Because I've got some yarn in stash, probably a good chunk of yarn that I know that I'm probably never going to use. So there's one part of me that's like, well, you might use it sometime, someday. So maybe you should keep it because you spent money on it. And then there's another part of me that's like, well, that was like 8 years ago when you're first starting and you didn't know any better and you don't like it. So it's taking space up. Like, why would you hold on to it? So Marie Kondo, where are you? Let's like thank the item. Let's figure out if it sparks joy. But in all seriousness, if anybody knows of a person or an organization that you are familiar with, that you've had a good experience with, where I could donate yarn, sorry, getting a cold, I would appreciate to know that. I think everybody's like, oh, just send it to the senior center, or, oh, just give it to the high school. It's like, I want to know that somebody's actually going to like use it and love it, which makes me sound like a hoarder, but maybe I am. I don't know. I'm not really a hoarder. Maybe of yarn, clearly, but I'm not like a legit hoarder. Like our house is not hoarded. So anyway, so I'm thinking about that. I'm also thinking like, do I get all crazy and like try to put all my stash in Ravelry? I always get that idea like every year, and it's like I never do it because it's so labor intensive to like photograph hundreds of skeins of yarn and then type all of the information into Ravelry and get all the photos up. It's just like a little too much. It's one of those things that they should tell you when you first start knitting. 2 things they should tell you. 3 things. This is totally on the fly. Number 1, there's multiple ways to do everything. There's no right answer, so they should tell you that. Number 2, they should make you buy interchangeable needles. Like if you like take a class and you knit a scarf, and let's say you're knitting for like 3 months after that, they should stop you from buying fixed needles and they should get you into some circulars because they just should. Like I waited way too long and I have all these like fixed needles that just like hang on the back of our closet door that drive my partner completely nuts. Excuse me. Because every time you open the door, they like clatter and clank. But we literally have one closet in this apartment, so that's where they have to go because my thing like hangs on the back of the door. Anyway, so that's number 2. And now I forgot what the third one was, and that was the important one. What was I talking about? I was talking about, photograph things to put on Ravelry. Sorry, I'm like, my brain is not working well today. photograph your stash as you get it. Like I've heard of people who will like literally throw it on like the kitchen table as like the yarn that they buy as a reminder to photograph it so that way they can like keep up with keeping it on Ravelry. So anyway, so I'm thinking about organizing my stash. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully I can like get this together. It's a little messy in this craft area. There's like a lot of chaos going on. I will say in this drawer right here, which is kind of off camera, like right here, I have several projects that I need to frog. So things that like projects I've identified that I'm gonna like rip out. So that's kind of exciting, and maybe I'll bring that to you on a future episode. What else? So then in terms of life stuff, there's a lot going on right now. And I don't know the best way to kind of communicate it. It's heavy on my heart, so you'll have to forgive me, but I have a hard relationship with my family. And I won't go into it, but I'll just say that it's strained. My parents were largely absent from my upbringing, and I got in this mode in late high school where I was like, I gotta get out of here. Like, I want to have a life that's different than this. So I did. I went to school. I worked really hard. I was a teacher. I went back to grad school. I now work, I worked in education policy, and now I work in philanthropy related to education. And it took me away from home. So my home, I grew up in Metro Detroit. That's where a lot of my family still lives. And I don't know. It's just, I feel like I got kind of like scapegoated or punished a little bit for leaving. And no one seems to understand that. So it's just really hard. Like, I'm not putting all the blame on them, but I'm just kind of sharing my perspective, which is hardly anybody ever calls me. In all the years that I've lived away, it's been way over 10 years, probably 15 years I've lived away from Michigan. One time, my sister came to visit me. And she came when I was living in Nashville, really to see Luke Bryan, not to visit me, but to see a concert. And I just happened to be in Nashville. And so she's like, oh, I'll make time to see you. So I'm saying all of this because recently, this weekend, I found out that both my grandparents are in the hospital. They are not in good health. And it's just made me think a lot about family and the concept of family. And this is not something that's like unique to me. But I'm so thankful for my chosen family, as I would call them. And many of them are knitters. Many of them are people like you out there who have been there for me, who support me or say hi to me. And I really appreciate it. I'm kind of rambling now, but it's just been weighing on my heart a lot because it's tough, you know, like for me, my parents were absent, and so like you get over that and you adapt because that's what humans do. They adapt, but it still sucks a lot of the time because you want your family, you want like your real family, and for me that's not an option. My mom passed away over 10 years ago from alcoholism, complications related to alcoholism, and my dad is still deep in addiction. And it's just hard. And what it makes me think about is it makes me think about how grateful I am for my family, my chosen family. And it also makes me have a perspective on how we need to be with one another. Because for me, I don't really share all of it. Like I'm obviously now sharing it on this very public forum, which was not really, like I didn't really plan to do that, but here we go. but like I don't share it with like all of my coworkers or like people who, you know, are not close friends. And so what it makes me think of is just like everybody's carrying these big boulders around. So like when I go to work, I've got to like be professional and like be there on time and like do a good job and like all that stuff. And little do people know that like this whirlwind of stuff is happening in the background, right? My grandparents are really sick. I've got all this family stuff going on. And I'm not unique. Everybody has that stuff. You have that stuff. It just manifests itself in a different way. And so we've got to be like good to each other. You know, we've got to be nice. We've got to care for one another. We've got to reach out when we haven't heard from somebody in a while. I don't know. I feel like that's so important. If there's any like kind of piece of wisdom I would give to people, or like people are like, what can I do to like make the world a better place? Like, be a good friend, you know? Be a good family member. Forgive. Reach out to people, you know, like that kind of thing. So anyways, that's been on my heart. I'm going to be hoping that things improve with my grandparents. You know, there's all these complicated family dynamics, of course. So now I've got to like figure all of that out with this particular situation and being kind of the black sheep of my family. So anyway, way more than you wanted to know. Sorry for that departure. On a lighter note, things that are going on with Mike. So Mike got a drone for Christmas from his dad. So he's been trying to like learn how to fly that. So that's been kind of like fun to watch. And Mike is traveling a bunch for work. So he's a philosophy professor, and he had like a number of papers accepted at conferences. And so he's traveling like several times during March. Excuse me, he's traveling right now. He's in Baltimore. He's going in a few weeks to New York to visit his folks, and then he's going again to New Orleans for another conference. I'm going for a conference in a few weeks to Kansas City for the American Education, Finance, and Policy Conference. Really excited to see my Kansas City knitting friends as a part of that trip, so really, really looking forward to that. And I like Kansas City in general. It's a fun place to visit. So that'll be happening. In terms of like knitting conventions and things like that, I'm planning on Dallas Fort Worth at the beginning of April, so that's not so far away. That's like a month away now. Really excited about that, and I'm also planning on attending the men's spring knitting retreat at Easton Mountain in May. So yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm really excited. I need to like start making my plan for Dallas Fort Worth and figuring out like what I want to buy yarn for. I think I might want to make a plumpy shawl from Andrea Mowry. I don't know what else. I need to kind of figure it out. So I've got the people I want to see. Of course, I'll go to Leon Alexander. Canon Hand Dyes is there. I love her stuff. There's like a bazillion other. Rick from Whimsy Stitches, who's a friend of mine who makes really great bags. I'm going to see Terry Schmidt, who used to make bags and is now doing a lot of pattern designing. I'll probably see Nitty Natty Natalie, my friend from Bliss Yarns from a long time ago, who now lives in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So I'm really looking forward to that. And of course, at the men's spring knitting retreat, I'll just see everybody, like all the great male knitters that I'm friends with, lots and lots of close friends. So that'll be really, really great. And then, gosh, what else? The only other thing that I can share that's kind of quasi exciting, but not really that exciting, is it snowed here today, like an inch or maybe an inch and a half. So there's like a little bit on the ground. It only snowed for like 2 hours, which is really not that much. But in Arkansas, like, we always just miss it. So it's always like just north of us gets snow, and then we're always stuck with like 36 degrees and raining, which is the worst. It's like cold, bone-chilling drizzle all the time. So, so that's exciting as well. Trying to think if there's anything else. I think I like covered everything on my list. Um, yeah. So I think that might be all for now. Shortest podcast maybe ever in history. I'm so enamored with the scarf too. I'm just like loving it. Um, Thank you all for joining. I'm so sorry that I went into like personal family drama territory. Um, but we're all human. And I think the message from that is just like be good to one another. And I'll be okay. Like, don't worry about me. I'll be all right. But anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. And I look forward to catching up with you in the next couple of weeks. And I'll see you soon. Bye, everybody. Bye. Oh, clicker, of course. Bye, everybody.